Hey, Chris Matthieu here, CEO of Computes. I'd like to speak with you about four different computing models that are available today. The three traditional ones is edge computing, cloud computing, and fog computing. So I'm going to explain a little bit more about how these interoperate, and then I'd like to introduce you to a new model called MIST. So hang in there for that. So cloud, if you look at like the pros and cons of each of these, they're very interesting and different. So cloud computing was around, started about a decade ago, mainly came around with the idea of all this excess computing power from Amazon, later became AWS, then Azure and other players got on board. Um, it's a great platform for like software as a service applications. Things like Salesforce, or Citrix Windows virtualization in the cloud. Those are great use cases where you're dealing with lots of different uh, uh, technologies or form factors of computing machines that need access to the same data. Centralized cloud computing is perfect for that. The edge computing has been around the longest, in my opinion. It's basically used to be defined as everything except cloud, and that's really not even an appropriate answer anymore because now there's like edge devices, edge computing on devices, edge network computing, etc. But these are things more like local data streams processing locally, like maybe without internet connectivity at all. So very fast real-time responses. Whereas the cloud, if you kind of think of IoT in the cloud, it wasn't really designed for that. Cloud was not designed for massive upload speeds or large data stream speeds. And when you're talking about AI in the cloud, you're dealing with a lot of latency and a lot of data moving from the edge to the cloud to do the AI. Whereas edge computing, you almost have the exact opposite scenario. You've got real-time data, but you may not have enough computing power on the edge for the AI computing. So along came fog. Cisco coined the term fog, and it was really to kind of bridge these two computing models together. And it's still trying to. You can kind of see like data centers starting to form like in the fog computing tier where they're trying to replicate cloud computing but bring it closer to the edge. And then they're also trying to create this tunnel, if you will, for only sending the pertinent data from the edge to the cloud, for AI computing there. So those are the three models in existence today. The newest one is being called mist computing, and that's where I would put computes in that category. And the reason I say that is that it's this idea that everything computes everywhere. It's this idea where computing can happen in the edge where it makes most sense. It can happen in the cloud where it makes more sense, as well as fog. And that's exactly what computes does. We have a universal binary that we call the nanocore, computes nanocore engine, and whatever runs on computes can run on the edge, in the fog, and on cloud platforms. And what we've specialized in is this idea where we can provide AI anywhere. So if it makes sense, to have AI happening on the edge for most cases, like if you're able to do some, say from a camera perspective, you're able to do some real-time machine learning on video feeds, detecting people in a room. Does anyone have a weapon, for instance? Some very fast machine learning on the edge in real time. And if you do detect, maybe a weapon on someone in a video stream, at that time you may want to have compute start distributing compute capabilities to fog and or to cloud, where maybe larger facial recognition databases exist to try to detect who is in that video with the weapon, and then more importantly start engaging telecom APIs, etc., for text messages and alerts and bringing police or MPs to the area specifically. So Mist is important. Mist is the ability for every one of these traditional computing models to work together where it makes the most sense to run the data. So that's exactly what Computes does. I'm excited to see this new Mist category show up and people start talking about it, because that's exactly what Computes does. Everything computes everywhere. Our nodes just connect, communicate, and compute, regardless if they're nodes in the cloud, nodes in the fog, or nodes on the edge, forming this ability to truly bring artificial intelligence everywhere. All right, so I'll write a blog post up about this soon and embed the video. I just wanted to give you a teaser of what to start thinking about when you start thinking about what happens when everything computes, and it's called Mist computing.